Okay.
Okay. Recorded.
Yep.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters. Now we are going to get into our second training session of tonight, which will be presented by our fellow members, DTM, Chien on. Who is Chien? Chien has been a Toastmaster for over 26 years, and she's someone believe and wanting to see members transform into confident leaders. So tonight she is going to share with us by using through a system or particular system that she believes can effectively help in better communication in our workplace. And she is presenting the training session titled Effective Communication for Better Teamwork. DTM Chien on. Chien on, Effective Communication for Better Teamwork. Over to you, Chien.
Thank you, Shalina. Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This evening, I like to just share a simple presentation. Before that, and it is about effective communication for better teamwork. And in this aspect, I feel that we need effective communication, enhancing collaboration and productivity. Why? Why do you need this? Because effective communication, the methods and techniques used is to convey information clearly and efficiently, fostering understanding and engagement. And of course, we need positive interactions among individual teams. So if with all these factors in, then it could at least help us to effectively communicate in our workplace and also in a family, in relationship, to make this place a better world, a happy place, a more understanding, more engaging place to live in. Then I elaborate, what is enhancing collaboration? Well, it is promoting teamwork, open communication, sharing of ideas and resources with a group or organization, and also help to improve synergy and creativity. And of course, the important aspect is productivity, especially at work, through effective collaboration practices. Then my last step is productivity improvement. How? We need to focus optimizing work processes, eliminating efficiencies, increasing output by leveraging effective communication, and streamline workflows and goal-oriented strategies. So with all these aspects that we want, how are we going to get something that could help us convey? So I thought of one effective matrix. And this is one matrix that the audience can adopt to enhance communication, collaboration, and productivity. And it's called RACI matrix. Now, what is this RACI matrix? It stands for, it's considered to be a powerful tool for clarifying roles and responsibilities within a team or organization and improving communication and, of course, streamlining workflows. Then I move on and see, what is it? How can it help us? Well, RACI matrix overview first. What does RACI stands for? R stands for responsible. A stands for accountable. C stands for consultant. And I is informed. Actually, it's a matrix that used to define and communicate roles and responsibilities for each task or project within a team. And in order to make your project or your event successful, you need to have a certain guidelines. So this particular RCI matrix could help you. Let's move on and see what is this RACI matrix is all about. Here it shows that there are actually 4 roles, RACI. How can they help us? So we start with R means responsible. These are the people who will be responsible for the task or the project. Then you have A, means accountable. This person will be accountable for the completion and final decision making. And C, consultant. These are the people who need to provide input or expertise during the task or a project. And I, inform. These are the individuals who need to be kept informed of the progress and outcome so that they will know what to do. Then we move on. How can we adopt RACI metrics? So here are the 6 steps. So the first step is you define your roles. You must clearly outline the responsibilities of any member in the group. Then after that, when you have already identified all the responsibilities of each group in your team, then you use ARCI and see who will be responsible, who will be accountable, and who will be consulted, and who will be informed. Then you already assigned who are the respective role players, then communicate to them, to all the team members, what they should do so that there'll be clarity. After all have understand their roles and what is need to be done, then step 4, you go into step 4 and you integrate the RCI into your project processes. Then you should not sit down and just wait. No, step 5 tells us you must review regularly, update the roles as needed for efficiency. Because as you progress with your project, definitely there are lots of updates. So the respective roles has got to take positions and ensure that everybody is informed, and updates should always be current. And step 6 is where success is. Embrace RCI for streamlined teamwork. Then we move on to how I have 2 examples here. The first example here is about team project on marketing project, how we can apply. So for this, we have, when you want to develop a campaign idea, so who will be responsible? The marketing team. And who is going to be accountable? The marketing manager. And consultant, the graphic designer and copywriter. And who will be informed? The sales team. Then when you want to create content, of course, the person responsible is copywriter, and accountable is the marketing manager, consultant, graphic designer, and of course, informed is the sales team. Then when you want to do design graphics, the person responsible is the graphic designer, accountable will be the marketing manager again, and consulted the marketing team, and of course, informed is again the sales team. Lastly, social media posts. Who will be responsible? The marketing team. Accountable is still the marketing manager. Consulted, the graphic designer, the sales team. So this is a first example to see how you can use RACI if you are planning to do a project. I further give you another example, which is now example 2, which is a team project on event planning. So venue, there are actually 4 places here that you need to plan in order to do the event planning. And the first, you need to find a venue selection. So who will be responsible? The event planner. and accountable, the event manager. And to be consulted is the operations manager, and to inform is the marketing team. What about budget planning? The finance team will be responsible, the event manager will be accountable, and the CEO to be consulted, and inform is the logistic team to help you do the movement of the things that you need to do. What about catering arrangements? Who will be responsible? The catering manager. And again, accountable is still the event manager. And consulted is the event planner. Guests will be informed. Now, the last thing, marketing strategy. Who is going to be responsible for this? The marketing team. Accountable is the marketing manager, and consulted is the event manager, and informed is the sales team. So these are the two examples of how the RACI matrix can be used. Next, RACI is the way to go. Now we know and learn a bit more. Then we discovered that RACI is not a project plan. It's rather a document that used to define roles and responsibilities. It helps to provide a clear outline. Then our job, they also help to ensure the work and responsibilities are fairly allocated, and also try to eliminate confusion and bottlenecks. How is it so? Because in the project, you have to be constantly updated, and the tasks must be clearly defined. You cannot have too many responsive tasks on one person. The task, as far as possible, to be defined and be carried out a task to an individual, so that they can focus and time to manage the task efficiently. Now, here I found that there are two groups that can benefit. There's the project managers and business leaders. The RACI chart will be useful for project managers. That's where they can use to track various tasks and roles associated with a project, so that everybody get involved and held accountable for their individual tasks. And for business leaders, how can RCI help them? They can help the business leaders to clearly define the roles and responsibilities for each team member. Then they can identify, when once you have already defined and each team member, they can even identify the gaps in the roles and responsibilities, so you can help to develop an effective plan for allocating resources accordingly. Now, there are some rules and practices which would help to make RCI successful when you want to implement. First and foremost, you must have clear definitions. What does it mean? You must make your roles easy to understand, so that people also would like to take up roles, and you can also see whether that person is suitable for the roles. Next, you have limited assignments. It meant that one role per person for clarity. And third one is collaborative process. Define the roles with key stakeholders. Next one will be regular updates that to keep the RCI metrics current, which is also very crucial. If you don't have regular updates, that means your project is dead, it's not moving, and not progressing. But how do people want to know and be better involved in this RCI metrics? You need to give them training and understand how this metric work. And of course, lastly, the most important, which I feel, is consistent communication. This is one of the most important one to get those roles, people who are involved in the various 4 roles, to be involved, especially updates with communication, updates with consistent communication that will help to iron out any misunderstanding, any issues, and then we can move and progress with the project successfully. And RACI metrics can offer several advantages. There is clarity when you define your roles and responsibilities, accountability, you assign ownership for tasks, efficiency, you streamline decision making. That means the right person that is accountable to make decisions. Communication, you enhance team communication so that everybody will be able to make progress by bringing updates, and also if they have issues arising, they have to quickly communicate to all the to all the group, the whole members in the RCI team, so that they can act quickly, and also to prevent duplication. That means from once you have assigned the roles and clearly defined the roles and responsibilities, you can also see that you can see any overlap of responsibilities so that you can streamline them. And lastly, to align expectation, that means you set a clear stakeholder expectations. After all about RACI is so wonderful and good, as some we must also, before we adopt this RACI metrics, we have also got to be clear about it, how you do not fall into a trap or a failure in your project. So the first one is unclear roles and responsibilities. That means it's best to assign one responsible person and one who is accountable for each task. And missing stakeholders. Make sure that all the relevant parties are represented. Next one, micromanaging. Do not get involved too many people in every decision. There could be one key decision maker that will help to decide, and the others to also listen and provide feedback so that the decision could be timely to manage an issue and they can move on. And the next thing is lack of communication. If you do not clearly communicate in the RACI metrics to all team, then it's difficult, there will be misunderstanding, and there'll be delays in your project. Next one, not reviewing and updating. If the team who is practicing RACI do not have regular feedback, regular review, and do not take action quickly, the project will be delayed, might be delayed, and might have issues, and you may have to change timelines. And that could be costly for some projects too. So lastly, I will conclude myself here is, if you embrace RACI metrics, what does RACI can give you is, firstly, provide you a clear path for project success. Assigning of roles effectively is very effective, is very, very crucial because it boosts accountability and teamwork. And thirdly, enhanced communication and streamlined processes lead to efficient project execution. So let's empower our teams and prevent confusion and achieve outstanding results with RACI. So ladies and gentlemen, that's my presentation of RACI metrics for effective communication for better teamwork. Back to you.
Thank you, DTM switching on. Ladies and gentlemen, put our hands together for our presenter, DTM switching on. And it was another great presentation about effective communication for better teamwork. And with that, I'm going to pass the virtual floor to our evaluator, someone that actually decided to be the evaluator just before the meeting began. This
Thank you.
is DTM Mahendra, who was ready to say yes and who is now ready to take on the evaluation task. Over to you, Toastmaster Mahendra.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Sharlina. First of all, I would like to congratulate to Toastmaster Chien for
Thank you.
really systematic, we have to say systematic and really structured. You gave us a lot of knowledge, a lot of new words, a lot of, especially in organization about RCI metrics and how to implement it in how to building an effective communication. First, I like how you're the opening. You are trying to give us as much as information as you can about this one. I think that's kind of information will be benefit for organization, for the each of the member of organization, and how we could know our position and responsibility in organization. You mentioned a lot about how marketing manager and digital marketing and so on. And also one thing I like in your closing after so many information that you gave to us, you just come on with how important RCE metric again. So it's just remind us again on how important that is. The next one is about I'm not sure if you are using a PowerPoint or not, because I think it would be better for us if you can use it PowerPoint. That will benefit, so we can know RCA, what is RCA stand for. So if someone in case losing the meaning of R or C or I, so we can catching up on the slide. That is, and then the next one is I have one suggestion for you in term of you, as I mentioned, you give us a lot of things, a lot of for some people maybe this is not this is a familiar term, but maybe for some person or some person they don't really familiar with this one. So maybe you could using a factual example so we could understand and follow this term. The next thing in I noticed also the pace at some point is a little bit rush. You manage to the pace is also, but at some point the pace is also a little bit rush at some point. So yeah. And then yeah, congratulations for all this really structured and systematic presentation. I personally, I get a lot of things, the things that I never learned before. I think, yeah, that's all for me. Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah, thank you.
Well done, Toastmaster Mahendra. It was really an impromptu evaluation. Thank you. Sorry, evaluator, and a great evaluation. May I just add to Chien's presentation? Chien, it was really good. I could hear the fundamentals, the explanation, definition, and also application plus example. However, I am a very visual person. If I find it, I cannot catch up with um, all these audios way of presenting. So if we could just, as Mahendra said, if we could have some sort of presentation to allow me to see the matrix itself, RSCI, which is very good matrix. I can hear that I actually very busy taking down notes. At the same time, the fundamentals of the, at the same time, the explanation or the definition of then, how do you apply it? And also what thing I miss, what the one thing that I'm missing is actually a success stories that actually is missing from your presentation, which I like to hear. how was it applied, and success story, how did it actually help them before and after. That would be really great for me for the presentation. That's about my feedback on your presentation. Thank you. So now to anyone else, Miranda, please take over.
Yes. So Chien, thank you for this presentation. I can see that you prepared very well, and you also seems like you're passionate about this presentation, this topic, and I can hear some points when it catches my attention. They can be very useful, and this is something that can be used for organizations, for leadership. So that was a very, very good topic. And I would like to concur with Shirlina and with Mahendra on the lack of the visual presentation. I am a very visual person, and you would have lost me. That's why a lot of times I could not concentrate, because it just, for me, like I'm just hearing sound and just your voice, but it doesn't grab my attention because there is just nothing to look at. And maybe just a little thing that I would add to that is the tone of your voice. I would say if you can make your tone more conversational. I think Jane was demonstrating that very well, like just conversing instead of lecturing. And what I got is like just a lecture, and then for 15 minutes straight, there was no engagement with the audience or asking questions or asking rhetorical questions. And also on top of that, there was no visual. As a regular audience, unless I'm here just to listen to your presentation, to really like, okay, I want to understand. So if I'm just a regular audience, you would have lost me after 5 minutes with that. So I hope that helps with the input. And if you could just add all this input from everyone, I think it would be an engaging and an amazing presentation as the content.
I think you know what? Mine is in PowerPoint. I didn't put into the share screen. I'm actually presenting it in the PowerPoint format, but I think I did not share screen. That's why you all just hear me. I thought I was sorry. It's actually in a PowerPoint format.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then just the tone. Make the tone a little bit more direct. Yeah, instead of
Thank you, Miranda. Thank you to all. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you. And this is my first presentation.
Again.
Training. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause to both presenters tonight, DTM Chien On and Toastmaster Chien.
Yes,
thank you so much for your sharing. I learned a lot and benefited from both of sharing. Some of the sharing may sound like basic motherhood thingy, but it actually applies in real life. If we look at our position every day, look at our role, look at the role we play every day. Yeah, it just sounds like we are a new mother having this newborn baby. We have to juggle so many things, right? And how do we manage time? Plus, Chien, in a professional environment, if you're working with a team, always boil down to communication. Where communication is not effective, you have problems. I experienced that constantly. So now effective communication is the key of giving the right message and keeping everyone else in the loop if you are managing a project. So there's a lot of things to learn tonight to digest. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, now we come to another session of mental gymnastics. Let's bring back our favorite topic master, Toastmaster Lorna. Lorna, back to you.
Thank you so much. So my first question to the audience is, what is the name of the matrix presented today? And what are its main components? What is the name of the matrix? And what are its main components?
RACI.
Yes. which stands for
responsible, accountability, consulted, informed.
excellent. Excellent. I can't fault you on that. Okay, the second question. What are the 3 ways in which projects can fail if we do not implement RACI properly? Think about each role and what could go wrong. Would like to answer that. What are some of the ways, or name 3 ways in which projects can fail if we don't implement? Anybody? Think about the roles and what can go wrong and would impact on a project failing.
Mahendra, you were saying something, Mahendra.
No.
Anybody? If you think about the roles, responsibility, think about role clarity, for example. If the roles are not clear, it will impact on the project, right? Project might fail. What other things can go wrong? I think it's because that was mentioned towards the end. Perhaps it missed some of you. Micromanaging a project can create chaos. Lack of communication amongst the role players can also create some chaos and lead to projects failing. Let me move on to a next question. Can anyone name one of the 2 examples she mentioned when she explained how RACI can be applied in business? Can you name any of the examples she mentioned when she was explaining how RACI can? There were 2 kinds of businesses she mentioned. Name any one of them. Bonaventure, it looks like you have an answer. Anybody?
No one. I'm going to say event planner and marketing project.
Right. So it was a marketing
yes.
project was the one example.
Yes.
And the
right.
other one had to do with event planning. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Shalina. That was excellent. I think that's where I learned a lot on that particular examples. Can anybody tell me what are the advantages of using RACI for business purposes? What are the advantages of using the RACI model or the RACI matrix in your business? Maybe ask one advantage from each person in the room. Miranda, can you think of one benefit of using it? Again, think of the roles. You're muted, Miranda.
I said I'm not confident of my answer. And what is the benefit?
Yeah. If you use RACI, what do you think might be a benefit to your business?
I'm guessing it would be make it more efficient and effective. So better, yeah, with the communication line better. Then
you actually heard a lot, Miranda. it's spot on. So excellent answers. Excellent answers. Of course, some of the others would be that, if you use RACI, you do lots of reviewing as well, right? And what would reviewing reveal to us about our project? What would reviewing our project help in running our businesses, in other words? Can reviewing be something positive? How would it be helpful? In the case of RACI, it's one of the most critical areas in RACI. Do you know what's going wrong if you don't review? Think about that. What does reviewing allow you to do in your project? See, there's something going wrong. Do you leave it? What do you do? Anybody? Shalina?
It helps you to tweak and find the shortfalls and tweak at the same time to re-strategize what needs to be done and correct it and mitigate risk.
I actually can't add anything more other than to say that it helps us to be current, right? Gives us the currency in terms of updates on roles, updates on things that might go wrong, but also things that might go right. You might save a lot of money and be more productive and stay goal-oriented. And I think that was the purpose of RACI. Overall is to streamline and to make sure that there's role clarity as well as that we are goal-oriented in our strategy application. I think that is all. Those are all the questions I have. Thank you very much for participating, and thank you once again to our presenter for an excellent presentation. Even though there wasn't a PowerPoint, I had to listen, so I got a lot out of this presentation. Thank you, Chien.
Thank you, our table topic master, for conducting 2 mental